Do you feel like the huntinghorn is just too complicated with all its notes, melodies, performances, beats, encores, and bubbles? Honestly, the entire weapon can boil down to 3 simple steps. Build notes, spend notes, and try to stay inside your bubbles. That's really all the mindset you need. And when you play it right, it's way more than just a support weapon. It is a heavy-hitting blunt weapon packed with support abilities. This is Tateyu, and welcome to the actual combat tutorial for the huntinghorn. First, let's talk about how to build notes. The huntinghorn has 3 types of attacks, which correspond to 3 notes. Light attacks give you note 1, heavy attacks give you note 2, and pressing light and heavy together gives you note 3. Since our main goal is to build notes fast and easy, we need to know the best moves for the job. For light attacks, you have left swing and forward smash. If you keep pressing light attack, your hunter will just cycle between the two, meaning you can't repeat the same move twice in a row. In fact, that rule applies to all of your basic attacks. If you just press light attack, you will do a left swing first. But if you push your analog stick, you can do a forward smash first in the direction you push. Or, if you're in focus mode, pushing in any direction will make you smash forward. Since the damage and evade cancel timing are practically identical, forward smash should be your note 1 move in combat. It's much easier to control where it hits, and its longer recovery gives you plenty of time to decide your next input. For heavy attacks, you have a right swing and flourish. Pressing heavy attack gives you a right swing, but by holding a direction, you can do a flourish first in the direction you push. Or if you're in focus mode, pushing in any direction will make you do a flourish. Flourish hits twice, and it can actually insert an extra note right after the first hit but before the second hit lands. You can also evade cancel the second hit, but if you do, you can no longer insert a note. Since that first hit is slow and the damage isn't great, right swing should be your note 2 move. For light and heavy together, just pressing the buttons does a backward strike. Holding a direction gives you an overhead smash. Though, keep in mind, if you're in focus mode, pulling back on the stick will still trigger the backward strike. Now, overhead smash hits twice, and right after the first hit but before the second hit land, you can insert an extra note. Keep that in mind because it's super useful. Also, if you hold a direction after an overhead smash, you will do an overhead smash follow-up attack, which does the highest damage of all your basic moves. You can throw that in occasionally, but the basic overhead smash should be your main note 3 move. Now for an extremely important move, the Hilt stab. After almost any move huntinghorn can do, when you're in recovery, pulling back on your analog stick or just pulling back in focus mode, while pressing any attack button will perform a Hilt stab. This is another reason I recommend forward smash and overhead smash. Their longer recovery windows give you plenty of time to decide whether to Hilt stab or evade cancel. If you use light attack, the Hilt stab gives you note 1. Heavy attack gives you note 2, and light plus heavy gives you note 3. The Hilt stab is lightning fast, and it can actually counter monster attacks and roars. It gives you super armor and a massive 80% damage reduction. You can even Hilt stab right after a roll in focus mode. It opens up a ton of options while building notes even faster. So I've narrowed all that basic shenanigans down to just 4 moves. Forward smash for note 1, right swing for note 2, overhead smash for note 3, and Hilt stab 1, 2, or 3. These 4 moves are the only moves you need to build your notes. Next, open up the option menu, go to game settings on page 4 and change the huntinghorn button guide setting to type 2. That way, your melodies are always visible on screen. Now, let's look at your UI. In the top right corner, you will see your horn's melodies and note indicators. 2 single note symbols for light and heavy, and a double note for light and heavy together. No matter which horn you bring, the colors might change, but the core concept is always the same. Note 1, Note 2, and Note 3. At the top left corner, under your sharpness bar, you will see the music staff, your note bar. Every note you play registers here. It holds up to 4 notes at a time, and if you play a fifth, the oldest note on the left gets pushed off. When you're just 1 note away from completing a melody, quick suggestions will pop up on the right to show you what you can finish. Once a melody is complete, it gets stored on the right side of your note bar. You can store up to 3 normal melodies on 1 special melody. If you keep doing those, the top normal melody gets bumped off, but the special melodies stay in a slot until you perform it. When you're ready to play them, you can choose which normal melody to trigger first by pressing special attack or special attack with light or heavy attack, just as the icon shows. The rest will then play in order from top to bottom. To play your special melody, you press special attack, light attack, and heavy attack all at the same time. Now, does it sound confusing already? But let me put it this way, it'll be super simple. All you gotta do is do your basic attacks in a specific sequence to match the melody you want, then perform and encore that melody for your main damage. And that's why basic attacks feel so similar. They're just note builders that do chip damage when you don't have time for a big punishment. Building them fast and smooth is the whole key. Here are 3 tricks to speed things up. First, look at the self-improvement melody. It requires 2 note ones, but you don't need to do 2 slow light attacks. Just do 1 light attack into a health stab 1, and boom, melody finished. Second, look at blind negated. Do an overhead smash, and remember what we covered earlier? Insert an extra note right after the first hit. That gives you 2 notes in a single move. Follow that with a right swing for note 2, and finish with a health stab 3 for note 3. There you have it, 4 notes finished in just 3 moves. Third, notice how some melodies start and end with the same exact note. If you chain 2 of these together, you only need to hit that shared note once. Take self-improvement and element attack boost for example. Do a forward smash, then health stab 1. You don't need to re-input note 1 for element attack boost. Just go straight into an overhead smash to get the next 2 notes and finish with health stab 3. Or for another instance, if you do 4 note 1s in a row, you will instantly load up 3 full melodies. That's just how the system works. Now that we're done with all that, the rest is gonna be even simpler, cause you don't need to memorize or spam every melody on your list. During actual combat, you only need to loop 2 of them, Echo Wave and your special melody. In this case, the horn I'm using, the resounding melody. All your other melodies are either buffs or tunes you're never gonna use. With Horn Maestro level 2, most buffs last over 4 minutes, so you only need to play them once or twice during the hunt. Let me walk you through an actual combat scenario in the training room. Imagine this. I evaded a monster's attack, open with an overhead smash and insert note 3, follow with a right swing for note 2, and when the monster swings back, I counter it with a health stab 1 for note 1. That immediately gives me an Echo Wave. From there, I do an overhead smash and insert note 3, which gets my special melody ready, followed by a right swing and a health stab 1 for a second Echo Wave. After my special melody is stored up, I just loop overhead smash, insert note 2, and go into health stab 1 to keep generating echo waves. The note order is 3-2-1, then 3-3-2-1. Then just repeat 3-2-1, 3-2-1. In terms of attacks, that's overhead smash, right swing, health stab 1, overhead smash, health stab 1, and just repeat overhead smash and health stab 1. You can craft your own inputs too, like starting 2-1-3-3 for a special melody and then looping 2-1-3, 2-1-3. It is crucial to memorize your chosen sequence because Echo Waves deals the highest encore damage of all normal melodies. If you're halfway through a sequence like 3-2 and need to counter with a health stab, make sure you use the specific health stab button for your next needed note, like health stab 1, instead of panic pressing. If you break sequence, you'll store the wrong melody and bump up your Echo Wave. But of course, bottom line, playing a random melody still deals big performance damage, so it's better than nothing. Now that we've covered building notes, let's talk about spending them. Performance. Pressing special attacks starts your performance. There are 6 performance poses, 4 directional, 1 neutral, and 1 upward. But in combat, you really only need to care about 2, forward and upward. Holding forward with special attack gives you the forward performance. It has great reach, is easy to aim, and is the second fastest way to perform. The single fastest performance is the upward version, but it can only be done directly out of a health stab, which also implies that you should perform right after you counter an attack. Just remember, starting a performance clears your note bar, so any unfinished melodies you are building will be lost. Once you start a performance, you have 4 options. Option 1, do nothing. You just play through all your stored melodies. This doesn't deal extra damage and takes a long time, so only use it to set up your buffs before engaging the monster, not in the middle of a combat. Option 2, performance speed. After finishing your first melody, pressing special attack again makes your hunter perform a smash attack and transition straight into your second melody, and then into your third. Since you can store 3 normal melodies, you can do up to 2 performance beats in a row. You can time your inputs for extra damage. The cue is when your hunter nods their head the second time, or when that little icon under your note bar blinks for the second time. If you nail the timing, your horn glows red and deals extra damage. Option 3, Encore. To understand Encore, we need to look at how buffs stack. Right now, your buff text is white, meaning it hasn't been played. Play it once and it turns yellow. That's level 1. For self-improvement, level 1 just gives you movement speed. But huntinghorn buffs can be stacked up to level 2. Play it a second time and the text turns purple. Now your attacks won't bounce plus a solid 20% attack boost. This is where Encore comes in. Instead of having to build and play the song twice from scratch, pressing light and heavy attack together after your performance execute an Encore, instantly boosting the buff to level 2 in one go. On top of that, the Encore itself hits extremely hard and unleashes a heavy sound wave, making it pretty much the highest damage in the huntinghorn's arsenal. So your core combat flow is simple. Find an opening, perform your song, and finish it with an Encore. Since an Encore deals 2 hits, 1 physical hit and 1 sound wave, this is why once our buffs are up, we only need to build Echo Waves. Echo Wave deals the highest sound wave damage of all normal melodies, giving you maximum Encore output. Just like Performance Beast, you can time your Encore input for a damage boost, but it's way simpler. Just mash light and heavy attack repeatedly, and you will see the red glow. You can Encore with special attack too, as long as it's your last melody, but for some weird reason, if you press special attack, you still have to follow the same cue as Performance Beat, but with light and heavy attack, just button mashing. So in a way, light and heavy Encore is a bit faster. With Performance Beats and Encores, once you start playing your second or third melody, you don't need to push any directions anymore, because the following performance will always stay in the exact same pose. Option 4. Evade. If you read the monster wrong and attack is coming, you can roll right after playing a melody to cancel your performance recovery. Now that we've covered building and spamming notes, your full combat flow is clear. Use basic attacks and health stabs in sequence to build echo waves and special melodies. Use evades or health stabs to dodge attacks, then perform an encore to deal damage. If the monster's recovery is long or is downed, you can do performance into performance speed into an encore. If you have an even longer window, you can loop performance, encore, health stab, performance, encore for massive damage. And if you misread the monster, just evade right after the melody. Once you get all that synced in, it's time to talk about echo bubbles. To the left of your note bar, you will see a tuning fork icon with 3 small circles next to it. Those little circles represent your available echo bubbles. Every time you use one by pressing special attack plus evade, a circle disappears. Once you use up all 3, the tuning fork turns gray. You naturally regain 1 echo bubble every 30 seconds. You can have up to 3 active echo bubbles on the field at once. Dropping a 4th will make the oldest one disappear. With Horn Maestro level 2, these bubbles can cover more area and last for 2 full minutes. Echo bubbles serve 3 main functions. First, damage. When you place a bubble, any monster standing in the area takes a hit, but the real power comes from resonation. As long as any part of the monster is inside an echo bubble's radius, no matter where you're standing, every basic attack performance on Encore will trigger a resonant sound wave inside the bubble that hits the monster. All basic attacks trigger a single resonance dealing flat damage, regardless of how many hits the attack has or how hard it hits. Performances, encores, and special performances also trigger a single resonance, but deals higher flat damage. Even better, each bubble resonates independently. So if a monster is sitting inside 3 overlapping bubbles, every single move you make hits the monster with 3 sound waves at once. Second, fast note building. While placing a bubble, pressing your attack buttons lets you insert up to 3 notes for free. For example, since echo waves only require 3 notes, if a monster goes down and you have nothing up your sleeve, drop a bubble, input 3 notes during the animation, and go straight into a performance. You can also health stab right after the bubble setup for 4 quick notes. Third, buffs. There are 6 different echo bubbles depending on which horn you equip. Life regeneration, stamina regeneration, evasion, which grants a level 3 evade window, attack infinity up, which gives a 10% attack boost and 25% affinity, defense, which gives you 10 extra defense plus 5 points to all element resists, and elements and blights negated. Definitely factor bubble types into your weapon choices. Plus, every single bubble automatically gives you level 3 flinch free as long as you're standing inside it. With each bubble, you have way more options in combat. You can drop a bubble right at the start or time it for specific openings. You can spread them out to cover a huge area, or if you're confident, you can stack all 3 bubbles in the exact same spot to maximize your sound wave damage. And if you run out of melodies during a big punish window, just drop a bubble while inserting 3 notes, then go straight into a performance. And that's it for echo bubbles. Now, one last thing, Focus Strike. The huntinghorn's focus strike features a unique rhythmic minigame. After your initial strike connects, your hunter will strum the horn 5 times like a guitar. If you do nothing, you'll finish with a pathetic hit. But if you press any attack button in rhythm with the strumming, each successful input deals heavier damage. If you nail all 5 rhythm inputs in a row, your hunter triggers an extra big hit and lets you insert a 6th note, which also has to follow the rhythm. Landing a complete focus strike not only deals massive damage, but getting 6 notes in one go lets you set up 2 full melodies instantly. On top of that, a full focus strike gives you a free echo bubble that deals extra placement damage on the spot, though it'll replace your oldest bubble if you already have 3 on the field. The rhythm is consistent and super easy to master with a little practice. During the strumming animation, you have full super armor, so monsters can't interrupt you. You can even follow up with a health stab right after to get 7 notes in one single wound attack. Whenever you see a wound, go for it. Focus strike has great reach, can be aimed upwards, and can even hit wounds tucked behind body parts. Just keep in mind the motion is slow, so use it to punish long recovery windows. Now that the whole combat flow is covered, let's break down a few extra mechanics and tips you should know. First, using huntinghorn as a secondary weapon. Keep in mind that you can carry over every buff melody except self-improvement. Also, you cannot carry over extended buff duration from Horn Maestro level 2. Even if you slot Horn Maestro level 2 onto your main weapon like a longsword, it won't work. The only way you can carry those extended durations over is if both your primary and secondary weapons are hunting horns. If you do bring a secondary horn, you get access to 2 completely different sets of buffs at the same time. You can find all the melodies in weapon control. Second, on the bird and sheath. On your way to the monster, you can cast all your buff melodies right from the back of your Seikret. Take the horn I'm using, for instance. Pull it out with a light attack to get note 1, then cue up your notes like 1 3 2 3 2 2 3 to prep all your melodies, followed by performance and encore. If you pause during this, your hunter sheaths the horn again. Redrawing normally forces a light attack, but if you immediately tap your intended note or performance button right after, the game registers that second input instead of forcing note 1 onto your note bar. This works the exact same way on foot while sheathed. You can draw with the light attack or performance, but if you draw with the light attack and immediately press your intended note, it'll register that note right away. That means you never have to worry about being forced to take note 1 first just because you were sheathed. Third, special melodies. While there are lots of normal melodies, there are only 3 special melodies in the game. Resounding melody, pure damage. Your hunter swings the horn 3 times, and if at least 1 hit connects, it unleashes a piercing sound wave through the monster. The further it travels through the monster's body, the more hits and damage it deals. So angle yourself to shoot the wave through as much of their body as possible. Just keep in mind, if all 3 physical swings miss, you won't get the sound wave at all. Offset melody. Honestly, I don't really recommend this one. On its own, it sounds incredible. It gives you generous invincibility frames during the initial evade, and you can hold it for 4 to 5 seconds before releasing it to trigger the offset. That means it can comfortably handle single or double hits and is super easy to time. But the problem is you have to build 4 notes first, and after using it once, you have to build them all over again since you can only store 1 special melody at a time. It deals low damage, offers no follow-up attacks, and is essentially just a pure defensive tool. Since you already have the health stab counter, other than an occasional perfect offset, I don't see how trading resounding melody and building 4 extra notes just for a slightly masculine health stab is really worth it. Melody of Life. I highly recommend this if you're just starting out at huntinghorn. It gives you 75 health recovery, that's half of your health bar. It lets you comfortably get familiar with the weapon's flow, and once you got some practice, you can switch right over to resounding melody. And of course, if you want to play the healer build, this is the one to go with. Also, remember that special performance does not clear your note bar. Finally, 3 quick tips. First, for your build, the huntinghorn doesn't actually need affinity. A big chunk of its damage comes from sound waves, which can't deal critical damage. So even if you stack affinity or critical boost, a lot of your damage won't benefit from it. As long as you keep affinity out of the negative, you're better off using your remaining slots for raw attack boost. Horn Maestro level 2 is a must, as we mentioned before. As for other skills, here are a few skills that I recommend. For weapon skills, consider Slugger. Since huntinghorn is a blunt weapon, this gives you a few extra stuns per hunt. For armor skills, Agitator is a solid pick. You're not taking it for the affinity, but for the raw attack boost, which has great uptime. Next is Counter-Strike. We all get knocked back sometimes, and you will trigger this buff easily. You can also pair Evade Window with Adrenaline Rush for a massive attack boost, since you'll be rolling around to dodge attacks pretty often anyway. Resentment is another great option. If you're frequently using Health Stab to counter, you will have plenty of red health to keep it active. Finally, there's Burst. While huntinghorn might seem slow, pairing it with Echo Bubbles lets you rack up hits surprisingly fast, making Burst a great fit. Just mix and match these based on your available talisman and jewels. Second, in focus mode, your dodge rolls, especially side rolls, are significantly faster. How many weapons can do this, honestly? Third, just as a reminder, Health Stabs can follow almost anything. Normal attacks, encores, special performances, Echo Bubbles, Focus Strikes, and focus mode dodge rolls. The huntinghorn might be one of the most complex melee weapons I've covered, not because of its combat flow, but because of all the mechanics behind it. Its actual flow feels super clear once you get the hang of it. So if I missed anything or got something wrong, feel free to point it out in the comments. Pointers are always welcome. This is Tatayu. If this video helped you get into the weapon, hit that like button and subscribe. I'll keep breaking down weapons just like this. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.